Change2Twin. Spostri, suntem de la Mende, prostia toto a taky bež.
Perfect. Okay, I guess we can get started. Good morning, everyone. I'm Anka Marin with Funding Box, one of the Change2Twin project partners. And this is our second and last session regarding information on the Change2Twin deployment voucher call. It's also the final call for the Change2Twin project. I'm here today with Tor Doken from Sintef, the project coordinator, and Francesca Flamenghi from TT Tech, our technical coordinator. So today I would like to walk you through the general and the specifics of this open call, and whatever questions you may have, please feel free to address them today. You can write them in the chat or just by raise of hands at the end of this these two presentations. You can ask your questions directly. The session is being recorded, so you will find it available at after this webinar in our social networks and also on our website. So please enjoy our session today and feel free, as I said, to ask any questions. I will give the floor to Tor right now for a general introduction about Change2Twin, and then we'll dive into the open call. Tor?
Yeah, so you can see my
Yes, we can see your PowerPoint.
In the home screen. Okay, so I'm the coordinator and I will try to give you a short introduction here. Let's see if I manage to click in the right way. Yeah. Okay, I have to click here. So Change2Twin has the ambition to make digital twin technology available to manufacturing SMEs. So the manufacturing SMEs have a place where they can get information on how to start digital twinning. And we believe that digital twins, that's a big game changer. We have been doing digitalization of individual processes over the decades, but now everything is tied much more tight together with, let's see. And when we wrote the proposal originally, we had a discussion, what is a digital twin? And if you go out on the web, you will find a lot of definitions. And these are very often very specific to a domain. We try to abstract it a little. So we say that a digital twin is a digital replica or an artifact, product, machine, process, or service, which is so accurate that it can be used as a basis for taking decisions. And very often the digital replica and the physical world are connected by streams of data. This is happening more and more. If you look at traditional CAD, then computer design, then you had more a nominal model. It was somehow as planned and it didn't really reflect what was produced. So for a CAD model to be a digital twin, it has to be updated with the changes that's done during manufacturing. So it's actually representing what is the object as it's produced. So we have this funding scheme that we now have the last call. And this is for what we call the digital twin deployment vouchers, where SMEs can get up to 90,000 euros for a deployment experiment, somehow to try out digital twinning. And it might be that we provide more than we actually have stated here, as we have some extra budget. So this open call started in January and will be closing on April 16 at 1700 Brussels time. It's just a little more than 2 weeks or 3 weeks until this, but you still have time to do it as it's not a complex application. But when you make the application, try to keep copy of the text in Word. So if something crashes during this, or you don't manage to forget to save, that you have your text. And these applications has to be submitted by the end users. So it's not a technology provider that get funding for making new technology, but the technology provider can be subcontracted from an end user. And as you see to the left, the main target group are manufacturing SMEs, and they can then use the technology providers and DIHs. Also, the experiment selected, they will get assistance from Change2Twin by the mentors that can also activate technical advice from the competence centers in Change2Twin. One thing that is important for these proposals is Change2Twin marketplace, where you will find a lot of solutions, and you get extra points in the application if you find a technology that match here. We will also like if you select some technology from outside the marketplace to get that technology provider to make this technology available on the marketplace. So for the manufacturing SMEs that we target, then we have been running these assessments of digital twinning, but now we are the deployment, and it's somehow to get funding and to be able to experiment. And then you can optimize your digital twin and find out how to use it in your company. For providers, as I said, technology providers can publish a technology on the marketplace, and we have now a number of offers from Change2Twin partners as well as from external technology providers. Yeah, this is a lot of repetition of what I already say, but we hope that you can acquire new customers and discover new markets through this. There has been some advantage for digital innovation hubs with this assessment that they can have had financed through the assessment calls, but this is not a part of this deployment call. But we have 54 digital innovation hubs certified in this assessment methodology, so they will probably still be willing to perform these services for you, probably for some payment. The certification program, here you see just where we have certified in digital innovation hubs. And we hope also to make available on our website the assessment, so you can run it yourself, or probably with some help from us. Somehow to demonstrate what digital twinning is, we have been running 4 pilot cases that we finalized last year. And one was within packaging industry, one was for process manufacturing, that was paint, one within additive manufacturing, and one for biomedical manufacturing. So you see that we have a very wide definition of what is manufacturing, but it has to have a good link to manufacturing, these deployment experiments to be funded. If you come from, for example, just transport, you are outside. So here you see the names of the partners that are in Change2Twin. The first 10 are the core partners, and number 11 to 18, they were pilot experiment partners. but some of these will still stay on board, and some of them might even be mentors for the selected experiments. So I think I stop here.
Okay, thank you, Thor, so much. I will start sharing my slides, and we are I'm taking over. So we'll just dive into the open code. Okay, so a lot has been already said. Thank you, Thor, for that. And as you've it has already been mentioned, this open call is for deployment vouchers. Selected beneficiaries will get up to 90,000 euros. This is a lump sum. We've already conducted 3 other open calls for the assessment voucher, 2 for the assessment voucher, and this is the second one for the deployment voucher. And with Change2Twin, as you have seen, we are trying to get involved multiple players here, and the call is for manufacturing SMEs and mid-caps. However, technology providers can be subcontracted, and digital innovation hubs have been a really important part of Change2Twin up to now and continue to be. And I can see a lot of the IHs in this call today, so thank you for taking the time to be with us again. So the deployment voucher has opened on the 16th of January, and it will close on the 16th of April at 5 o'clock Brussels time. Make sure you submit your application by then. We are trying to reach and to select up to 16 final beneficiaries to join the 11-month support program. Along with the grant, the lump sum of 90,000 euros, they would be getting also mentoring support, and they will be able to achieve the milestones that they estimate at the beginning of the support program. So the technical mentorship will support you along with the technologies that we have in the marketplace to the towards the deployment of the digital twin within your business. As it has already been mentioned, we are looking for manufacturing SMEs and mid-caps, and they have to be located in the member states of the European Union and its overseas countries and territories, or in the associated countries to Horizon 2020, and also the United Kingdom. So this means manufacturing company means that you are registered as a manufacturing business in your own country, and you can verify your national code or identification code with the European standard codes, NASA code and ACE, and you can find the equivalent. As long as it is manufacturing, you will find everything under C at the European standard level. It's at the C group for NACE codes. So the companies that are applying to this open call will ideally have already reached a digitalization level of 3. However, we only require the minimum level to be eligible is 2. So on the one side, it is not compulsory for you to have been a beneficiary of the assessment voucher, even if the scheme was intended initially as the assessment phase, where you would get a recipe from the digital innovation hubs to implement the digital twin and then obtain the 90,000 euros. But in this case, you are not obliged. It is not mandatory for you to have participated in the assessment program. Okay, so you can be a company, a manufacturing SME or mid-cap in the member states, as mentioned, have a minimum level of digitalization of 2. That is, so basically, if you're using a CRM, an ERP in your business, then you should be considered to level 2. You can do your own assessment and evaluate your digitalization level using the Acatech Industry 4.0 Maturity Index. You have linked it everywhere in the guide for applicants, and everywhere on the website you can find this link and be able to do your own evaluation of the digitalization level. So for us, the ideal use case is the deployment of the digital twin. This has to be the main objective with this proposal, with this project. The funding, as Tor mentioned, is applicable only for the implementation of digital twin technologies in end users, manufacturing SMEs and mid-caps, and not technology providers. However, as I mentioned, technology providers can be part of this process, of this proposal, as they can be the ones providing the digital twinning technologies necessary for the manufacturing businesses to deploy the twin. So in other words, you should also be looking in the guide for applicants at the purposes listed for the use of the digital twin. Here you can find for example, it can be used for improving customer relation, for virtual design, whatever need you identify that can be converted into a replica of the existing traditional process. So what we are looking for is that the project increases the digital maturity of the end user. It leads to proven business benefits for the SME using digital twin technologies. And it will eventually provide lessons learned to be shared with the manufacturing community, because this is our ambition, a digital twin for every manufacturing company in Europe. The process, as explained before, has started on the 16th of January, and this starts with you starting at submitting an application, a proposal. After the 16th of April, we are going to start the evaluation process. So first of all, we are only looking at the evaluation submitted through the online application form of, on the platform of Funding Box. And we are doing first the eligibility check, which means that we are looking at your status, generally speaking, at your declaration of honor. You'll see that within the form, you have a very long section where you have just to tick yes or no. And this is your self-declaration, which enables us to do the eligibility check, also to verify that you are in one of the eligible countries. The shortlisted applicants after this eligibility check will be then entering the external experts evaluation, where we have 2 independent experts for each proposal, evaluating your project from according to the criteria that I'm going to detail a bit later. So after the experts have evaluated your proposals and have scored them from 0 to 5 on each of the 3 criteria, we'll be able to generate a list of applicants above the threshold. I'm going to ask someone who is not muted to mute themselves. Thank you. And this threshold, which is 10 for the general score and has to be 3 on individual criteria, enables us to have a list of applicants to discuss about in the consensus meeting happening with the Application Experiment Management Board. That is the project, the core partners Tor mentioned in the project. And we are going to decide on the 16 beneficiaries scoring highest and inform everyone of the results of the evaluation. Once the beneficiaries have been selected, they are going to enter the legal and legal check and legal and formal check, where we are in thorough, in-depth verifying the status of manufacturing SMEs, and you will be needing to provide some documents. So at this stage, when you are submitting the application form, you don't need to provide any documents proving any of the eligibility criteria that you need to, unless you want to submit a link or something to show your business. There's no need for you to send any documents at this stage. The 16 beneficiaries will sign the financial support to third parties agreement with a consortium of Change2Twin, and they will be starting the support program. We estimate it to start around July and to last for 11 months, as mentioned before. This I have already discussed. As mentioned at the eligibility check, we also look at the minimum level of digitalization, the fact that the proposals are in English, we verify that, and you are also required when filling the application form to declare if you have received any funding from I4MS or SCI projects, because this is under the same umbrella. Change2Twin is under the same umbrella with various other projects under I4MS, and there is a top up here. You cannot exceed 100,000 euros in funds from projects under I4MS or Smart and everything, anything, everywhere, anything. Okay, so we are also looking at the absence of conflict of interest. That means that you as an applicant are not in any type of relation with the evaluators, the external evaluators, or the members of the consortium of Change2Twin. So through the application form, you will find questions that fall under the 3 criteria that the external evaluators will look at. And these are excellence. Here, the evaluators will try to find answers to reasonable answers and very argumented answers to questions like, why are you applying to this deployment voucher? Why do you want to implement the digital twin? What are your expectations? What are your KPIs if in terms of business operations once you have deployed this digital twin? Or which purposes for digital twinning do you think offers more advantages for your business? So again, under excellence criterion, we are going to look at the innovation side of your proposals. What are you going to improve in your current production processes with this digital twin? You have to do that self-assessment that I mentioned to identify your current level of digitalization. It's called self-assessment, but basically you will just go through the Acatech Industry 4.0 document and you'll understand what your level is and explain why you think you are at that level. Another criterion that we are looking for is the impact. What is the impact expected from your business after deploying the digital twin? Okay. What is the market potential of the new or improved process? How can you improve your offer through digitalization? What are your business impacts here? Which parts of your business will benefit mostly and why? It's your own description, your own words to use here. How do you see the digital twin helping your business to grow further? The last criterion we have here is the implementation, and here it's a descriptive part of your own resources, the team that you are employing in this project, and the time dedication they may have, the skills and experience, and this goes very well. This has to be very well correlated with the budget estimation that we are going to talk about more in depth further on. So what's essential and what should be very clearly reflected in your proposal is that the digital twin is important for your company. It's not just something wishful thinking, we'd like to have a digital twin. It's something that actually benefits your business and grows it. They can provide a significant competitive advantage, and the impact you have to reflect the starting point. We're starting from here with the digital twin. We expect this impact, and this is how it's going to be reflected in our business. Right now, I'd like to walk you through the application form just for a bit, just to help you get more familiarized with the process if you haven't started it already. So I have this very short video where I am an applicant just as yourself, and I go through the sections and we can discuss about them in depth. Okay, so if first of all you have to go to the open call. Sorry for that. If you don't have an account, you sign up. If you have one, you just sign in and you start a new application. You can always add a contributor by including their email address. You can add someone to help you with the application process, and then you go through the sections. You have the basic information section. You always have the links here, guide for applicants, frequently asked questions. I would open them just to go through them whenever I need. You include a project title here and the basic information about the contact person. For the general company information, you have to include the name of the company and VAT number, the country. You will find here the drop-down list for the country, and use your self-declaration if you identify as an SME, a manufacturing SME, or mid-cap. For project information, this is where you talk about it. Like you have the excellence section, and this is where you describe your business. This is the part where you make your company known to us and reflect everything here. You'll have to choose the stage of maturity of digitalization. You'll find here on the Industry 4.0 Maturity Index, you'll find here the information for you to be able to evaluate your current status. And then you can always go back to your application process. Once you have chosen the digitalization level, you can go further to the impact. And this is where you explain what you are trying to get with this project. At implementation, you will have to present the project itself, why is the digital twin needed in your business, and then to talk about the technology. If you are going to use some technology from the marketplace, or you have another technology in mind that you couldn't find on the marketplace and you'd like to use it on your own. So be very careful, because these fields marked with the asterisk are mandatory, and you cannot save until you fill in the information. So for the budget, you will find some more explanations in the guide, in the frequently asked questions, and you'll see here what we are expecting from the budget. You have these 5 categories: personal cost, travel cost, consumables, subcontracting. Overheads is a percentage of the total of the previous categories, and the total of the project can be up to 126,000 euros, 128, sorry, thousand euros for you to get the maximum grant, which is 90,000 euros. So there is a difference between the budget. The budget is up to 128. That's your budget overall, and the grant is only 70% of that, which is 90,000 euros. So in the frequently asked questions, you will find information about SMEs, mid-caps, and definitions of manufacturing. So for the budget, I have dedicated a few more minutes after this. Make sure that you check if this is a SIA project or I4MS project, and then you'll have the declaration of honor, which again, this is your self-declaration enabling us to perform the eligibility check, and processing of personal data. This is for us complying with GDPR policies in order to be able to receive and go through your application with external parties and the consortium members. The information that you include here will not be shared publicly. So make sure that you submit. Once you have completed all fields, you have to submit the application. You can export it as PDF, or you can delete it before submission. It cannot be deleted after it has been submitted. This is the application form. As you can see, it's not a lot. You can do this in half a day, maybe 6 hours, if you already know what you intend to do with the digital twin in your business. So as mentioned in the application form, we have this estimated budget that you need to submit. The 90,000 euros is a lump sum, and this means that you will never have to justify with documents and invoices how you spend your money. And even if your budget is 128,000 euros for you to get the 90,000 grant, which we want you to have the 90,000 grant unless you have other projects from under I4MS, in which case we need to know about it, and we need to make sure you don't exceed the 100,000 euros limit. So we want you to get the 90,000 euros, and this is a lump sum. And even if your budget is 128,000 euros, we are not asking you to justify the rest of the expenses for you to get the 90,000 euros. You will have milestones and deliverables and KPI that you set at the beginning of the support program with your mentor. And if you fulfill those KPIs, if you comply with what you have estimated to achieve in this project, then the 90,000 euros will be paid against deliverables in 2 tranches. Okay, so the first payment will be done after the approval of the individual mentoring plan that you are working on in the first month of the project, and the last payment, the second and the last, at the completion of the project with the final deliverable. So with the estimated budget, we've seen some questions and some particularities and some terms that are maybe not very known to you. So I'm just going to walk you through. You see that you have this category, personal cost. For personal cost, you need to estimate how many people you are going to get involved throughout the 11 months period. And for those people, we'll call them the the time dedicated to the project, full-time equivalent, will mean for 1 month, one person. That would be one FTE, right? So if you're using 2 persons at 50% capacity of their working time, then you'd have one FTE, right? For 1 month. And this is to get the estimated cost, you multiply the FTE, which is 4,880, by the country coefficient code. And this will give you the cost for one FTE, which can be 3 persons, just they allocate less than one full-time equivalent, right? So you get the estimate for 1 person per month, for one FTE, sorry, which can be different for 1 person, as I said, 1 FTE per month. And you can multiply that by 11 months to get your total personal costs. For mobility costs, there is a maximum amount of 600 euros per travel. So you have to be quite specific and also very coherent with what you write in your application. For example, you don't have a partner in your project. So is traveling necessary for you every month? Do you need to spend the 600 euros every month for traveling under the considering the fact that you don't have a partner where you need to travel every month in the project? The technology provider you are working with, do you have to visit them every month? So just make sure it makes sense for you to use the mobility budget, the travel cost, for a very specific purpose that serves the objective of the proposal, right? For the project Change2Twin, we estimate you to need to travel once, maybe at the review or at the demo day where we'd like to show off with our champions, right? But other than that, there is no other traveling involved on our side. So when you estimate traveling, be consistent with what the traveling is doing for the purpose of your project, okay? For consumables, there's also a limitation of up to 500 euros. I'm sorry, it's not up to 500 euros. This was for the assessment voucher. There is no limitation in terms of the percentage you distribute for personnel or subcontracting. However, for subcontracting, what we have noticed is that if you leave a very large part of your implementation in the hands of a third party, you may lose some control over the project altogether. So if you need to subcontract more than 60%, then you'd have to justify very, very clearly and to make sure that you can depend on that subcontractor to help and support as it is meant to do in the 11-month period. Overhead is a percentage, 25% of total direct cost, and that means personnel plus mobility plus consumables plus subcontracting. So 25% of these 4 concepts gives you the overheads. This is not mandatory, it's for you to consider. This can be administrative costs or indirect costs that you have with the project. So there was a question, a very specific question regarding the country correction coefficient, and we use Marie Curie action. We use the metrics in Marie Curie actions, and this means that 1 FTE is, which is 4,880, is multiplied by the country correction coefficient, and you will find here in the frequently asked question, the country correction coefficient for each country that is eligible under this code. For example, for Slovenia, it's 86.10%. Okay, so make sure you take that into consideration when you estimate the personnel costs. We have the benefit to have gone through the first deployment voucher support program and open call. So we have learned a few things. A few of them I have already mentioned, like subcontracting extensively may be a risk in execution because you, as I said, you no longer have control over your process, over the delivery time, and your project may be a risk. So subcontracted is limited to 60%. If you need more than that, you need to extensively justify and explain it in your proposal. So when you decide on a technical provider, even if you don't get them involved at this stage, at the proposal stage, make sure they have availability. As said, the program is estimated to start around July and it will last for 11 months. Make a sort of time frame in your mind. When would you need the technology provider, and make sure they are available to deliver what you need them to do. Another important aspect is, since this is a mentoring program as well, you need a contact person on your behalf to represent you in the relationship with the mentor. Make sure you make clear from the very beginning who the contact person is. It doesn't have to be the company representative or legal representative. No, it just has to be the person hands-on in the implementation of the project, and they have to have a good command of English, because we are conducting everything in English. And our mentors, they are really great technical mentors, but they express themselves very good in English and not in local languages. So along with the contact person that you allocate for the execution of the digital twin, you also need to make sure they have the available time to enter the meetings and to attend all the sessions that the mentor is scheduling with them at the beginning of the project. This is not something imposed. The calendar is scheduled together with the mentors. I will ask Francesca and Tor to say a few words about collection of data, but before that, I will just answer a few more questions. Maybe I've already attended them. So there is no limitation regarding the percentage of total eligible expenditures by budget line. As I said, you can allocate personal costs. If you're doing everything internally with your own resources in-house, you can have personal costs up to 80% of your entire budget, okay? Again, with the travel costs, as I said, it has to be consistent with what you intend to do throughout the 11 months. So if you don't need to travel all the months, you don't have to put a budget for traveling. There is also one very good question regarding the depreciation for software and hardware. And I've asked our legal team to give us some insights here. And they can tell that generally they can put as eligible cost the depreciation costs, but just as you reflect them in your books, right? So if you have, by your national law, an equipment has a depreciation time of 24 months, then you just divide that by month and you would get the cost for 11 months, the duration of the support program. Okay, the depreciation cost cannot exceed the duration of the support program. So I have a few other questions that are more technical, and I've already addressed the question about the code for manufacturing companies. Take your books, see what your registration code is, look into it at the national level. Very often you'll find it's correspondent with the EU legislation. If you don't, you just look NAC EU codes. And under C, under the category C, you have everything manufacturing related. So Tor or Francesca, first I would like to ask you to take the question about collection of data, and then there are a couple of other questions that I could use your help on.
Maybe I can start with that.
Please.
Yeah. So basically, collection of data. Okay, so you have to build your digital twin, so your model, and basically you have to use data collected from your process or production process or machines. The consumable, you can also use them to buy sensor that will help you to collect this data if it's not the case at the moment that you collect all the data that you need for the digital twin. And so it's quite important that you act about that very soon in the project. because this is, I mean, it's important for you to have the data to build the model, but it's also important to have the data to validate the digital twin at the end. And we noticed that in the first deployment voucher, in the deployment experiment, we had some issue with this collection of data, which was postponed for many reasons, including indeed the unavailability of the relevant sensor, which delayed the validation process. And actually, this, I don't know, maybe Anka did not mention clearly, but the program is 11 months, and this is the last experiment implementation that we do in the project. So we are going very, very close to the end of the project. So there is no possibility to extend this 11 months. So if you have a delay, then we are sorry, but it probably will mean that if you are not able to complete your experiment, we are not able to pay you. So you have to be very careful when you plan, and we will help you with that, because in the first 2 months we will help you to define this individual mentoring implementation plan. But we have to be very careful and very strict to adhere to that.
Okay, that's a very good point. Thank you, Francesca. So, Tor, if you'd like to add something on collection of data, if not, I have other questions for you too. So, I have a question about digital twin standards. What does that refer to? Is it a technical specification on protocols to be used in solution, or what is
it? Can you repeat what you?
Yes, the question was about digital twin standards. What does that refer to, digital twin standards?
Yeah, it's very important for a digital twin that you store data using standards, so that if the system you develop goes out of production, then you can transfer it to a future system. So it is important to understand the standards that are related to that problem you address. Francesca, do you have any more comments on that?
Yeah, I agree. Actually, we have identified a relevant standard that could be useful for you, and I think we published them on the website. At least there is a first report on the standard that are relevant for digital twin, which is downloadable from the website, Change2Twin website, and you can have a look at that. What are the standard that we have identified? And the idea is indeed that you use standards in the collection of data, in building models, and so on, because this could be also transferable to other companies. Sorry. Yeah.
And there might also be standards outside this list that are relevant for you.
Okay, so we'll share a link with our website where you can find some standards, and I understand that the other information is open. They can find it and relate to that as they see fit with their application, with their proposal, right, Dor? And the other question is, can deployment voucher funds be used to buy solutions from Change2Twin marketplace? If not, can Change2Twin solutions be freely acquired from the marketplace? I think I've answered to that specifically by email, but Tor, if you'd like to say something more about the marketplace.
Yeah. As part of your proposal, you can somehow get assistance from technology providers. So such solutions could come from external providers on the marketplace, as I understand it.
But they are not free. They can be purchased, like if you don't have your own.
Then with respect to solutions from the partners, Here I'm a little uncertain what we actually stated on the marketplace here. Francesca, do you?
Yeah. So my understanding is that so the marketplace at the beginning, it was a solution provided by the core partner of Change2Twin, but now after this 2.5 years, basically now it's quite big, and there are many solutions from different providers. So you are encouraged to use a solution from the marketplace. Basically, you get an additional point if you do so. So you will get an advantage in the evaluation process. And there you can select solution from partner of the Change2Twin program. In that case, they will help you to implement their solution for free, let's say, for the duration of the project, because we have this budget in our within the project. So we will help you to implement our technical solution for your digital twin for free. Not, let's say, you don't have to count this in your budget. But of course, if you take technology provider which are not partner of Change2Twin, then you have to discuss with them about the price, and you have to include that in the budget.
Okay, thank you both. We have some more questions here. Someone actually said they have 15 questions. Let's see if we can go through all of them. So do you have to have been a successful applicant in the first call before you can apply to the second call? I've already mentioned that it is not mandatory for you to be an assessment voucher beneficiary to apply to this call. So it's independent from the first assessment voucher calls. Can you share a direct link to country coefficient corrections? I will include it in the frequently asked questions, and you will find it there, Borut. Sorry for taking a bit longer to answer, to reply to your questions. I needed some support from legal. I will also send the replies by email. And thank you for all those questions. Regarding subcontracting, could you please repeat the percentage of subcontracting cost of total budget above which the justification is needed to be provided in the proposal? So we are limiting the subcontracting to 60% of the total grant. Okay, so whatever is more than 60% and you feel that it's absolutely needed in your proposal, it has to be accompanied by a very coherent justification in your proposal. Dor, would you like to add something to that?
No, it's just that too much subcontracting, as you pointed out, might give you a problem.
Yeah. If I understand correctly, sensors and electronic equipment can be funded under the concept of consumables. If they are equipment purchased as such, and is not subcontracting an equipment with service, then it's under that budget category. But if you're subcontracting a package like equipment and service, then it has to go under subcontracting. Field for team description is not that wide to explain them well. Can we add link to our CVs or other useful links? Yes, you are more than free to add links to your CVs or LinkedIn profiles, and I could even talk to IT and give some extra space for that field if it is necessary. How many team members can we add? Again, this has to be consistent with your proposal. You have to adjust to the budget, to consider the time frame that you have here for implementation. As mentioned, various people can be involved, and they don't have to be full-time involved. They can dedicate a percentage of their working time for this project. So it's completely up to you how much you need to get from your internal team, from your resources, to dedicate them to the project. Direct concrete link to these standards. Again, Borut, I will include them in the frequently asked questions, and you'll find them there. We'll update the frequently asked question and we'll notify you sometime this week. You'll find the information in there.
I already put the link to the deliverable page, and you will, if you look there, you can find.
Thank you so much, Francesca. Yes, so you'll find it here in the chat as well if you want to have a look at it right now. Okay, here we have the link from Francesca. What is a subcontracting extensively risk? was limited, or we should add more costs like providers external. No, subcontracting is not limited to 500 euros, is limited to 60% of your grant of the 90,000 lump sum. And the risk that we've seen already in our first program was that the technology provider who had the biggest part of the project did not show availability and didn't deliver what was promised. So the beneficiary was did not complete the program, did not get the funding because of that. Okay, so this is the extensive risk that we see with having a technical provider, technological provider, technology provider taking over your project and doing almost all the work for you. Okay. From the implementation part, is repeating question. If we choose no in question, why are we just going to copy this? I think there was a problem in the form, and we've already updated the form. I'm not very sure what the question is. Nicola, maybe I can see you have a raised hand. Maybe you can explain it a bit more here. I'm not very sure which question is that. Question 8 and question 9. Nicola? If you can
Okay,
unmute yourself.
sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, now you can.
Okay,
Yes.
I had some problem with unmuting. So it's a question related to implementation. I'll let you know. It's about just a second, please. I'm looking for the what product service from solution providers will complete the necessary infrastructure. Please list the product service, the providing company, and the project use. And if we go further, and there is a question, does your solution require the use of at least one technology available on the Change2Twin marketplace? We have two solutions to pick, no or yes. If we pick no, then we have to answer on the next question. And it says, if no, please name the technologies you are considering.
Yes, you can repeat the one that you mentioned before. Yes, that's right.
Thanks. Okay, thanks.
Okay, so I'll just go in the order in the chat, and if I see you have more questions, and if we need, we can go back to you. So from Boro, how mentors from the program are selected for experiments? Francesca, would you like to take this question?
Yes.
So,
okay, well, yes, sorry. Yeah, well, it depends. For sure, there is a criteria of language. For instance, if there is experiment with the company, let's say Italian company, we have a partner, for example, that speaks Italian and they are based in Italy, so that could be a criteria. Another criterion can be if they use technology from a specific partner, which is also mentor, partner of the project. Yeah, these are the two main criteria that we use to assign the mentors. But it depends also the number of experiments that will be funded and the availability of the mentors. But the mentors will be introduced to you during the kickoff meeting when if you are selected, and then you will have the possibility to start the discussion with them and to schedule the work.
Thank you, Francesca. Borut, does that answer your question, or would you like to add something else to it? So you're also asking implementation 9 months phase for applicants to deliver comply with after the IMPs in the first 2 months. Yes, this is the objective, to have the IMP done in the first month and maybe first month and a half, and have it approved by the consortium members, and then you proceed to the implementation. However, once the IMP is clear and it has been set with your mentor, you can already proceed and will in parallel take care of the internal procedure to have it approved. So you can consider 9 to 10 months of implementation phase. Let me see if we can take all the questions. I have 2 raised hands, Borut and if you can unmute yourself, and Angeliki. Angeliki, would you like to ask a question?
Hello,
Hi.
can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Well, I am Angeliki Plelitou from I Know How, a Greek SME that delivers custom robotic solutions. And actually, I wanted to verify that our concept is relevant to proceed with an application. Is it okay to proceed with the question?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Actually, we're thinking of developing a digital twin for one of our products. The product is a robot used for biofouling cleaning of ship hulls. And the robot operates when the ships are in ports, so it can be deployed in any country all over the world. And is actually remotely operated by an on-site operator. So as we can see, a digital twin for mainly telemetry purposes would be beneficial for the operator as also for us. I mean, to get live data from the robot. Is this something within the scope of this call?
Tor, would you like to take that question, or Francesca, please?
So basically, the digital twin will be the of the data coming from the robot to support the operator to monitor.
Exactly. Exactly. And the robot is deployed when the ships are in port, so the operator has no visual contact with the robot. And getting live data would be very beneficial.
Yes, I mean, but it's not only to get the live data, it's also to build a model of how the robot should behave, correct?
Yes, actually, he can intervene in the cleaning process through this digital twin.
To me, it seems relevant. Tor, do you have an opinion on that? It should be, monitoring or as a purpose, or yeah, no, I don't remember all of them.
As long as you relate it to manufacturing.
Yeah, but it's in operation, let's say. They build the robot and it's basically enhancing the robot, yeah, the services basically.
And what is where is this robot used? For which purposes? Is it more general? Is it used in manufacturing companies?
Actually, it is used for biofouling cleaning from ship owners.
But this is somehow you extend the functionality of your robot. So it has to do with the manufacturing actually of the system here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but you have to describe this somehow, explain that this is related to manufacturing.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. We're running a bit out of time, so let's just take one more question. I don't know if you could unmute yourself, Borut.
Yes, I'm unmuted now. Thank you.
Okay.
Regarding this second stage, where 81% of the budget will be, let's say, somehow eligible, what do applicants have to provide as deliverables? How many of them will be in the stage of implementation?
Normally, we decided to have only one final deliverable, which include whatever you have done, let's say, from the implementation plan. So basically, you will have to explain again the experiment, define the requirement. I mean, how you define the requirement, what are the requirements, the design specification, implementation, validation. And then other important information will be, again, the impact of this experiment for your company. If you use standard, which standard did you use? If not, why, and so on. If you in the in this deployment, you built maybe technology, I mean, a solution or something that can be reused from other company, so that, for example, or part of it. So if you built a solution that can be added to our marketplace, for instance, and then the lesson learned from your side about the mentoring, about all the experience and so on.
Yes, there will be a template available for the final report on experiment performed. I'm afraid this was our time for today. We're very, very happy to see so many questions. Nicole, I understand you still have some questions we haven't managed to answer. So my suggestion is for you to send those questions by email or ask for a meeting, and we can try to address your question in a separate meeting. And we will include all these questions and their corresponding answers in the frequently asked questions document. Okay. I'm very sorry that time for today's session was just up to 11 o'clock. My colleague here, because we wanted to share with you a video of use cases that have already deployed the digital twin in a first program of the deployment voucher, but my colleague has pasted here the YouTube channel, and you can see there 4 or 5 videos of successful stories that you can relate to. Okay. Thank you so much to everyone for being here today. Thank you to our Francesca for assisting with the questions. And we really look forward to receiving your applications and any questions you may have between today and the 16th of April. There is still plenty of time for you to make a decision and submit your proposal. Please remember to hit the submit button. Hope we managed to put some more information on your table with this webinar and to answer some of your doubts today. Thank you again. Have a lovely week. Bye.